All right. Today we are going to be learning about active lines. Last week we learned about calm lines. So let's check it out. See what today has in store for us. Something short and sweet. All right, we're looking at active lines. Here is some artwork again by an artist named Vasily Kandinsky. So let's see what the deal is here.
Have you ever seen someone doing a wild dance?
Some of you guys in my class.
¿Alguna vez han visto a alguien bailando un baile loco?
Or on the Zoom meetings. Okay, so our objective today is to identify diagonal, zigzag, curving lines and how they create excitement in our artwork, and how to use them to create artwork in our excitement in our artwork. And if you want to do the project here is to paint active lines to make an exciting abstract painting of a scene. And then for our art history and culture, you're going to recognize that some artists create abstract art and interpret their reasons. All right. So, lesson 4. Really, week 4 introduces the concept of active lines. So when you take your quiz today, you're going to be focusing on what active lines are, what active lines do. Active lines show movement or add excitement to the art. Movement or excitement to the art. So let's look at these two works of art. The artists have used many different kinds of active lines to create excitement. Which lines look like they are moving? Let's check it out.
Let's take a close look at the two works of art.
And for our Spanish friends,
Vamos a observar detalladamente las dos obras de arte.
all right. Why did these artists make the viewers look closely to see their subjects? Why didn't they just use a realistic picture? We'll find out in just a minute. These kinds of lines you could use to describe, think about the types of lines that you could use to describe a ringing telephone. Study both works of art to find active lines. So let's look at our active lines. This is a Russian artist named Vasily Kandinsky. Painted this in 1913. And we talked about straight lines, like vertical lines and horizontal lines. Straight lines are kind of boring and they show calm. So the opposite of that would be showing movement, would be different types of lines. So in this artwork, I don't see a lot of straight lines. I see curved lines. I see curves. I see diagonal lines. I see wavy lines. Okay. Thick lines and thin lines, all interwoven, all kinds of different types of lines are on here that they colored in. And let's look at the other one. This one's called Leo Twiggs. Is an American artist at 4.5, 1972. I see curved lines in the branches. Okay. And this is a curved line, a circle. These lines right here on the swing, they're not just going straight down, they're diagonal. Kind of makes it look like it's moving. Also, here's diagonal and diagonal. And then I see lots of curved lines like in the leaves and the roundness of it. Okay. Which lines gives a feeling of movement? Well, when I was looking at these, we were talking about they had a bunch of different lines. You have a lot of different lines in here. Almost every line in this picture is an active line because remember, any line that is not straight is an active line. And if you look over here in 4.5, the active lines are really concentrated on the branches and they also have the leaves. And then the swing, like we talked about, and the legs of her. Her legs are not straight, they're kind of diagonal, and so it looks like she's swinging through the air. And the body of the children. Do any lines seem to stand still? Let's look. Okay, this one right here doesn't have any lines. It looks like it's standing still. It doesn't look like anything is still. Everything looks like it's moving. Over here, maybe the main branch looks like it's staying still. I don't know. It's curved, so I don't know. It doesn't look like anything to me is staying still. Looks like everything is moving. How do the active lines in the art makes them how do they make it more exciting? Because the active lines makes the person looking at the picture feel as though it's busy and it's moving. If it was just a bunch of straight lines, then it doesn't look like it's moving. It just looks like a person standing still. Like, we talked about when you're standing still, if you stand still and your legs are straight and your hands are down to your side, like when you're standing in line, when the teacher says, please stand in line, that's what she wants you to do. She wants you to stand in a straight line. And when you're standing in a straight line, you're not moving. You're just being quiet and you're standing still. But if you're moving around, your body is not making a straight line anymore. It's making a wiggly or curvy or zigzag line when you're moving your arms and you're talking and you're not standing and then you're becoming active. So, so if you think of your body as being a type of line, straight lines are calm and lines that are moving around are active. Okay. So you see a lot of busy lines in here and it helps you to when you're creating your artwork you use a lot of different lines that are not straight and it really helps to make your picture look like it's 3D and it's moving. So here is the active lines. Artists used active lines to create motion in a picture and give it a feeling of excitement. They also use active lines when they want the viewer to feel like the art is animated. Animated is a fancy word for like cartoon or moving. So when they use these lines, they want you to imagine that they're moving. Diagonal, zigzag, and curved lines are examples of lines. So here you go right here. Instead of just drawing a straight line and a boy and a girl here jumping, they made the line diagonal and they drew a person here and here. And if you see this rope, they didn't just make it straight across, they made it curved. And also the little girl, her legs are not straight. Her legs are like zigzag, like bent, and her arms are bent. And when you see that, it makes you think that she's actually jumping. If she was just standing there with her arms straight down to her side and her legs straight and the rope was just straight across, then it really doesn't look like she's moving, does it? Okay.
Can you think of an exciting event or action that you could draw?
I could think of a lot of them.
¿Pueden pensar en un evento emocionante o una acción que podrían dibujar?
So, walk along an active line. If you had a piece of yarn or a belt or something like that, if we were in the classroom, we would probably take the yarn and we would lay it down on the ground to form active lines and then walk back over the lines and practice walking the path of the line. You don't have to do that. Here's an artwork by an artist named Kendall Whittlesey, age 7. Think about what kind of what kind of event this student could be describing in her abstract painting. I don't know what kind of event it could be. Maybe she's talking about like a birthday celebration or maybe uh, New Year's Eve, something very active. Okay. So, can you create an abstract painting? An abstract painting means it doesn't look like anything. It's just a bunch of lines and it doesn't look like a real picture of anything. Okay? So an abstract painting of an exciting event using active lines, think about which lines you could describe an exciting event. Like draw different active lines with black paint to show the activity in your event. Choose some bright colors and paint the spaces between the black lines. You don't have to do this. If you have paint at home, do it and then send me a picture of it. I would love for you to do this. Now, if you don't have any of the supplies at home, you could use your crayons and send me a picture. I would really like for you guys to actually be working on paper. One of the reasons why we're using Dojo is for the kids who don't have supplies. And then if you don't have any supplies, you can go on Dojo and then go to the portfolio and you can use the digital tools and create some kind of design on there using different colors and different types of lines and filling the whole thing in. I don't just want a plain piece of white paper with different colored lines. You can fill in the background and use the paint tool and paint the whole thing in. Okay. But that's for extra credit if you want to do that. Okay. So, where are the active lines in your picture? Which active lines did you use more than others? How would you paint a different event? Would you use different types of lines? Could you have painted this event with calm lines? So when they talk about events, like different things, hmm, hold on.
How would you explain the difference between active and calm lines?
Right. If I were to ask you what's the difference between this week's lesson and last week's lesson, you should be able to tell me.
¿Cómo explicarían la diferencia entre líneas activas y calmadas?
For one, they look different. And two, that they make you think of different types of lines. Again, straight lines, all types of straight lines makes things feel stable and calm and tall. And then when you use active lines, which are diagonals, zigzags, and curves, that makes things look busy. Awesome. You've completed the week 4. We will see you next week. Don't forget to complete your quiz and anything else that belongs to this week's lesson. Ciao.